Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I just got my son from school early today. He had one of those lucky days where he gets out of school early, and so that's a good thing. I was thrown off my game a little bit today for a couple of reasons. First one is I had to take to school, and then I did my first video. I literally recorded, I had my phone on speakerphone when the official language Nazi of the Digital Asset Investor channel was on. Had my phone right beside the speaker on my computer. I don't know if I got it too close and it just turned it off or what, but for some reason you couldn't hear anything. I went ahead and uploaded it, just why not, but I'll iron that out, and next time I have someone on I will make sure that I have it right. Okay, saw this from Caitlin Long. Overnight repo usage continues. It's actually climbing again. Wait, what? Mainstream tells you the cash shortage was supposed to be temporary and would fix itself after 9/30 quarter end. Wrong. It continues. Nothing is fixed. Well, I'll take that a step further. Nothing's been fixed since the financial crisis, and now they're starting to see the real trouble that is the result of their pumping for 10 years. I just never thought that they could have gotten away with it for this long. So then look what XRP Bart sends me today. This just came out. At 11:01, this came out. Breaking from CNBC. The Fed is extending its overnight funding operations through January 2020. So they started, it was just going to be, I think, October. Then it was September. Then it was going to be through October. Now they're saying we're just going to, and I think they may have extended it to November. And now they're just saying, no, let's quit coming out and saying all this because people are going to get spooked, as they should be. We're going to just go to 2020 in January. So we obviously have a really big, scary problem going on, and they know it, but they're not going to act like it. There's a liquidity cash crunch on the horizon if it's not already here. I think it might already be here. Then Sean Michael at Michaels_Mr. Sent me this. And this is interesting. Tony Valentino has awakened on Twitter, and he has been putting out a lot of tweets that have been intriguing me lately. And if they intrigue me, they might intrigue you. And so I show them. If only Ripple's, and he's tweeting out this article, breaking, U.S. Fed unveils new steps to boost liquidity, manage rates. If only Ripple's on-demand liquidity tool actually had liquidity to provide. But I know Brad Garlinghouse is just waiting for the call to activate the XRP bailouts and flood the system with liquidity. It's going to be a coordinated effort. IMF will lead the way. Tony Valentino keeps on bringing up the IMF over and over and over, and XRP bailouts. And so the reason I like reading his tweets is because I've read a lot of tweets in my day, and every once in a while I'll read tweets from someone, and after a while I begin to wonder if they know something that I don't. And that's the vibe I've been getting from his tweets. Now, and he's not coming out and saying I'm a bear or whatever. He's talking intellectually about all this, and I've seen enough things that are making enough sense where I'm putting it together, and I'm decided I would show it to you. Then there's this. Yeshua Taylor tweets this out. BIS economists warn world economy at risk of global liquidity crunch. And then this morning, remember, I read that the UN's running out of money, and the countries that are members of the UN are not ponying up their annual dues. So there's obviously a huge problem going on. It's a worldwide problem. Well, I Am Legion comes in and says, next steps. Ripple gets status as a bank. Ripple creates financial products. Ripple becomes the global liquidity provider. Ripple is under supervision from Fed, BIS, IMF, there's IMF again, and the World Bank. Ripple, a new SWIFT member. So I'm just seeing a lot of things that are kind of coming together, piecing them together, make a lot of sense to me. Green Eggs and Ham tweeted this out. This is that. Remember this morning I was talking about how the Litecoin Foundation is apparently having money problems. He says, and Green Eggs and Ham, for those of you that don't know, he is To the Lifeboats. He's got a YouTube channel. You need to go subscribe to the Lifeboats. Very smart guy. He did a video a while back. He called this before anybody did a video a while back where he's talking about how the Litecoin community, there is no development going on. And he showed his evidence of that. You need to go back and watch that. Well, today, you remember there was that article about how the Litecoin Foundation is running out of money. He says the Litecoin community is proud to announce Mohammed Saeed Al-Saheb, better known as Baghdad Bob, to head community relations. At a press conference, Al-Sahaf announced, there are Litecoin developers here. Over there. There are Litecoin developers everywhere. Don't be ridiculous. And this is, for those of you that were around, I guess we're old men. This is the guy during the Iraq War, the first Iraq War, that he was their information minister or something, and he kept coming to the microphone to say that there was nothing going on, and meanwhile there's bombs blowing up everywhere, and the U.S. was literally obliterating them. And so he became a whole meme, I guess you would say. But then Green Eggs and Ham tweets this out. He says, what really gets me, this was obviously a year ago, they could have come out and been honest, saying, here's where we are, and probably found solutions to move forward. Instead, they seem to have decided to sacrifice their credibility to buy time in hopes of fixing behind the scenes. And then, this was from Galgatron, and this is a great tweet as well. That moment when your baby is all grown up and leaves for college. Now remember, Galgatron, this guy's like genius level smart. So he's not tweeting something like this out just to tweet it. This is like real deal. The XRP ledger is now officially, undisputably 100% decentralized. Ripple no longer has veto stopping power. The ledger belongs to the world now. That's a pretty profound statement right there, and I think I'm going to have to screen grab that little non-Ripple validators thing there for this video. Okay. XRP Crypto Wolf. China's central bank is hiring 6 tech experts for its digital currency. Key responsibilities are to develop blockchain systems for digital currency, research and development for cryptocurrency trading terminals, and analysis of fintech, payment, and settlement. So, you see where this world's going, folks? It's not very complicated. It's really not. Then Michael at VAL5 Links, the chairman of the Commodities Futures Health, Heath Tarbert, said the second largest cryptocurrency, Ethereum, should be treated as a commodity. Good news for the crypto community as it opens the doorway for Ethereum derivatives in the U.S. market. I think that this is good. I mean, this is the CFTC chairman saying this, and if they're doing all this with Ethereum and Bitcoin, just write it down. XRP's on its way. XRP big time. Bitcoin no longer seen as a driving force in the crypto market. Now, this is interesting from Yahoo Finance. And I'll just read this part. Indexica, an alternative data provider, has a different take. According to their predictive index built on data from August 1 through October 1st, Bitcoin's fall has less to do with the currency itself and more to do with a growing cryptocurrency ecosystem. According to the latest findings, Bitcoin's price moves are being driven by competing digital currencies and new blockchain technologies. Indexica's study showed talk around MasterCard's partnership with R3 to develop a new blockchain payment system as a strong driver of recent returns. If this is true on any level, folks, this is the Bitcoin people's worst nightmare. If they're ever judged side by side with other digital assets from a technology perspective, and utility, which is what should matter, it's over, folks. And that's why they always come out and attack XRP, because they know. All right, Now, this is a great tweet right here. Charles Lee at Guest1X sent me this. I have never seen this. This is a tweet from Tony Valentino back on September the 3rd. You need to read through the whole thing. I'm going to start it out. An absolutely fantastic summary and must read. And I didn't know this, Bank of Canada has 0 gold holdings. How can they go to a gold standard? There are many countries in a similar position. This means they all can't individually declare a gold standard for sound money. The US dollar was once backed by gold, but it was too restrictive and failed. And then he shows you here where there's 0 gold holdings for Canada. When the dollar was no longer backed by gold, the U.S. made a deal with Saudi-led OPEC. Sell oil only in dollars. Made sense at the time because currencies were already pegged to a gold-backed U.S. dollar. So now that the gold backing was dropped, they could still remain pegged. Petrodollar, can anyone say that? Because of the need for U.S. dollars to purchase oil, being pegged to the USD meant that whatever happens to the U.S. economy affects everyone, as we see today with the trade war. Also, since the U.S. dollar was both a sovereign currency and the global reserve, this meant the U.S. had an advantage over nations. The demand for the U.S. dollar was strong. The U.S. would print money and exchange it for goods from abroad. This also meant the U.S. had total control over the international payment system, SWIFT. Since the world traded in U.S. dollars, the U.S. could dictate and bully every other nation. They could unilaterally sanction foreign nations and prevent them from using the SWIFT payment system. This was allowed for decades because the U.S. was a superpower, the largest economy. No one could challenge the U.S. Nations would adhere to sanctions out of fear they too would be restricted from using SWIFT, and this would affect their trade and hurt their economies. Nations like Iraq, Libya, whose leaders tried to sell their oil in euros and gold, were invaded and executed. The message was clear: don't challenge the U.S. dollar, because if they did sell oil for euros and gold, this would have meant the end of U.S. dominance and the end of SWIFT system. Every nation would then want to trade using different currencies and assets. So you can imagine why the U.S. had to act quick and stop nations from trading in anything but the U.S. dollar. All this went on while China and Russia were building up militarily and economically. China, now being the second largest economy, will be the world's largest economy in a few years. The U.S. imposed numerous sanctions on Russia and other nations. They use their media to portray these nations as the enemy, sell you stories to back up their claims. No nation is perfect, especially the U.S., and its thirst for war and global dominance. Now, fast forward down here, folks. I want to read just a couple of things where he mentions XRP. Right here. Banking and payment software providers allow for a flip, the switch ease of access. There are roughly 2,000 cryptos. If you said Ripple and XRP, you are dead right. There is no accident or speculation. This is fact. I challenge you to prove me wrong. What does this all mean? It means after hundreds of years of different sovereign currencies dominating, leading to failure after failure, the U.S. dollar will be the last sovereign currency to ever hold the position of a global reserve currency. Do you think the Bank of England's Governor Mark Carney calling for a Libra-like digital currency to replace the U.S. dollar was just some uncalculated talk? Do you think Brad Garlinghouse meeting with central bankers in Switzerland was for nothing? XRP is loved by the IMF, BIS, etc. This is no coincidence. Ripple has been captured since 2014. This is the line that blew my mind right here. This is no coincidence. Ripple has been captured since 2014. Their goals have been directed by hidden hands. Their team boosted and filled by hidden hands. What you see is just the surface. This is no longer a speculative asset, as it were back in 2015 and 2016. Things are clear. The tech Ripple offers and provides cannot be matched by any other today. Interledger protocol is a game changer. This allows trade to be conducted using any currency or asset. This links up the financial world. ILP is like veins to a body, and XRP is its blood. We are entering a brand new world. We won't recognize it when the dust settles. Changes are coming. We have to wait for negotiations to complete. In life, we cannot be certain about much, but I've never been more certain of XRP becoming the world digital reserve asset. Its value may seem low today, and that's not because the insiders, banks, institutions don't know about it. The biggest players have purchased their shares via OTC, so you and I don't see their moves. It is 99% who will come flooding in when the word is released. They can keep value low until negotiations are complete, and then Trump will sign an executive order, or the UN will make a move first if its negotiation takes too long. After that, it's just a matter of flipping a switch, and everyone can access XRP liquidity without knowing. Everything is falling into place. A few years back, we were laughed and mocked at for laying out the plans, but now we know even the central bankers are calling for the new world currency to replace the US dollar dominance. There's no stopping this. The die is cast. I don't think I've read anything much more interesting than that in a while. Michelle Bott, 985. Something in my gut tells me she knows more, like holding off until a certain date for them to take crypto trading live. This right here is a Fidelity executive talking about, oh, wait a minute now, we're being real careful before we let retail investors trade in digital assets. You know, it's real scary. Until they're ready to make the money, it's real scary. CZ Binance, we have a server issue affecting all withdrawals. May take 1 to 2 hours, rough estimate, to fix. We are aware of the exact issue and how to fix it. Still working on a more accurate ETA. We'll keep you posted. Apologies for the inconvenience. Trading is not affected. Funds are safe. Whatever. Keep your digital assets off the exchanges. Keep your digital assets off the exchanges. I don't care who it is. David Schwartz, anytime David Schwartz tweets out a tweet, we have to show you 60% of the players in the floor have J in their first initial. I wanted to show you this just to say there are going to be all kinds of conspiracy things going around about the letter J now from David Schwartz. Stone Hodl XRP sent me this from Yano. It turns out the XRP Army loves podcasts. The Brad Garlinghouse and Anthony Pompliano episode doubled nearly every other episode of 2019. Thanks to the Ripple team for making this great episode happen. 30 off-the-chain episodes left to release in 2019. Who else should be a guest? Folks, let me say one thing about this. There's a reason that everything the XRP community touches turns to gold. It's because people are not stupid. Listen to me. I'm going to say it again. The people that are listening to my voice, the people that discover XRP after wading through all of these digital assets that are inferior, people are not stupid. The reason the XRP community is larger, think about this. We've covered it in 2 videos today. The Litecoin Foundation is having money problems. They're having money problems, and some of them are related to problems with T-shirt sales. Problems with T-shirt sales. We're talking over here about XRP and how it relates to what's going on with central bankers and the Bank of America and the IMF. And they're over there talking about T-shirt sales, folks. T-shirt sales. I'm going to get my son to draw you a picture of a Litecoin T-shirt and then a central bank with XRP being talked about in it. I think that's what we're going to have to do. Maybe an IMF logo with XRP on it and a T-shirt with Litecoin on it. I mean, what better picture? And here we are with Tony Valentino again. Pump built his brand on Bitcoin. If he abandons Bitcoin for XRP by admitting that XRP is superior, that will mean him damaging his reputation and business, and CNBC won't take seriously anymore. Also, by admitting XRP is superior, Ripple and Pump's followers gain, but Pump loses. And next, this is a tweet I tweeted out for Pump. These guys, this is a video that I thought was hilarious by Easy. This is at ERST69. All XRP haters against the superior tech of Ripple. And it shows all these natives and they're surrounding this drone and they don't know what it is. And they've got their arrows pointed at it. And so I tweeted this out to Pomp, retweeted it. These guys look confounded, which is the word Pomp used, confounded by this drone. I don't blame them. And then I saw this was great. Zuby in Atlanta at Zuby Music. He says 10 ways to improve your life. I laughed out loud from this. Lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. Drink more water. Walk for an hour daily. Learn a new language. Eat more protein. Drink less sugar. Don't eat when not hungry. Don't sleep near your phone. Smile more. Stop smoking crack. I thought that's a great way to go into your Friday. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family that if they're thinking about digital assets, are you interested in t-shirt sales or are you interested in your digital asset and the company working on its primary use case having meetings with central bankers and banks and the IMF and places like that? You tell me. To me, this is a no-brainer. It's not a coincidence that the XRP community is 10 times larger than everybody else's. It's because people are not stupid. They get it. Thank you for listening.